Wiltraut, and my present position, which is new actually, is a retail ambassador from IKEA of Sweden, specifically for lighting. We found actually that as we've grown bigger and bigger as a company, that we definitely need competence development, you can say. And it's about making sure that the people working in the service offices in the countries, and most importantly, the people on the sales floor working with the customers every day, have a close connection between where the range is developed at IKEA of Sweden and what happens on the sales floor. And that's what the job is about. And of course, it's about offering solutions to the customer. That's what we want. And of course, we want to sell more. I've been with IKEA a long time. And the most important thing, I think, are where I can say I think I've gained the most experience actually was in my first 4 years, and that was on the shop floor in the store. That's invaluable. It's about a few different things, or a few different dimensions, you can say. One is that you have that close connection with the customer. You see what's happening every day. And that's invaluable no matter where you are within IKEA. I mean, if you move around the world and you're in trading, or if you're working at iOS, you still have to know what happens when you meet that customer every day. And that's why store experience is invaluable. So that's where I started. And then I was asked to work in the service office, in our North American service office, working with our stores in the United States. And I did that for a few years. It was a great experience. You know, I got to more or less relate my experiences in the store on a countrywide level, which was great. And then, I guess it was in about 1995, I was asked to come to IKEA of Sweden. And so, of course, I said no. And I said no many times, actually. And the reason for that was I was like afraid. I thought, oh, my God, you know, moving from the United States, and I knew that and whatever, and to move to Sweden, it would be strange. But I finally, actually, in 2000, said yes. And I would say it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. It really gave me a chance to develop, of course, professionally, but I think much more on a personal level, to see that there's a whole world out there, a whole other perspective on things. It was fantastic. The range is our identity, and the range is developed at IKEA of Sweden. And we take all aspects of the development of the range, meaning actually what the product should be, where it should be sourced, and how we communicate and sell that product. And there's many, many, many details around each one of those processes, but that's basically what we do: develop, source, and sell the range. Actually, it involves a lot of different processes, or a lot of different tasks. And it's about understanding the entire communicating and selling process. And there are many, many aspects to that. It's about how is the range sold and executed in the store from a very commercial selling perspective. But then it's also about how do we communicate this range to the customer. So it's a lot about product communication, specific about a single product, but it could also be about how do we communicate an entire range. Lighting, for example. How do we communicate our entire lighting range? And it's almost be careful what you wish for. I've always been interested in other languages and other cultures. And at the same time, I've always been interested in retail. I always got a lot of energy from that. And with IKEA, I really got that in spades. And that's been incredibly rewarding. And I think it's really important to say, when I say it's rewarding, it's about a lot of self-satisfaction. It's not about a Mercedes, and it's not about flying business class. It's about a personal satisfaction. you have to be really interested in what you're selling and having a real passion for what you're selling. You have to be interested in home furnishings in a good way and also believe in the product that we sell. I'm not saying that your whole home has to be IKEA if you work at IKEA, but you still have to have a perspective that home furnishings is important, and it really is about offering a better everyday life for yourself. I would say one that really sticks with me is don't have prestige. The minute that you believe that you're more important than someone else, you're headed down a rocky path. Someone working in the store pulling pallets is no less important than whatever position you may aspire to. If you think you're going to be trained in every aspect, then again, it's not really the place for you. You have to be very much a self-starter and have to challenge things and say like, okay, you're not going to tell me exactly how to do this? Well, then I'm going to do it this way. And that's much, much more of an IKEA perspective on things. That's much more of an IKEA way to success. So definitely no prestige. Self-starting, self-motivating, I think are two very, very important factors. I think it's leadership by example. I really do. It's like the people, when I think of leadership within IKEA, the people who've inspired me and how I hope I've inspired people is by good examples. I mean, it's the people who've inspired me, I've wanted to be like them, or I've wanted to have some qualities like them. And I've hoped that I've done the same for people who followed me. Leadership by example, absolutely. We have big challenges ahead of us. We have huge challenges. I mean, there's so many changes going on in the world that we can't just rely on our past success. I don't necessarily think the future is all bright and rosy. What we do have, though, is a really, really strong culture within the company. And that keeps us going. That keeps us going and I think continues to be our success. I think it's a lot to do with values. And again, I don't want to sound cliched about these things, but they're really important for us. I think when I think about values, one of the first thing that comes into my head is thriftiness, and that means a lot. I mean, if we were reckless with our money, then that would send the wrong signal to our customers. How could we really offer them the lowest price if we were flying business class, for example? And I think that thriftiness is really, really important in terms of a value. If you start somewhere, in a certain organization, it doesn't mean that that's where you're going to be set. That's where your career is going to begin and end. IKEA really does offer a lot of different opportunities. I think the important thing is, and at least what stayed with me, is that if you do a good job, you'll be recognized. And that recognition then could help you throughout the company. It was really kind of interesting because I was working for an American retailer, a very successful American retailer, and I was doing okay. Actually, I was doing pretty well, and I had a good position. And I went to IKEA because I was coaxed by a friend, actually. She's like, oh, you got to come to this place. It's really, really interesting. And I'm like, I only did it because I wanted to keep her quiet. So I went on an interview, and I was offered a position. But the position I was offered was not what I originally applied for. It was like a lower position, and I thought, forget about it. I'm not doing that. I'm already doing well over here. Why should I go to this crazy place? And then my friend actually took me out to dinner and said, my boss said to me, you come to IKEA, you won't regret it. And next thing I know, I was working at IKEA. And I never thought I would be here as long as I have. I mean, I never thought I would be in the store as long as I was. I never thought I'd be in the service office for as long as I did. So it's been an incredible, incredible journey.